Hi, thanks for watching Watch Spirits Tokyo. I'm Maru-Chan. I love watches, shoes, and fashion. Today, I want to show you the toughest watch in the world. You may already know what I'm going to talk about. It's of course G-Shocks. So, let me explain just to be very clear. G-Shock's G stands for gravity, and of course it's shockproof. Also, unsurprisingly, the watch goes to 20 bar if we're talking about water resistant. It goes without any issues under 200 meters under the water. So, let's talk about a little bit more about how far this watch can go. So, first of all, G-Shock needs to go through 190 tests of assessment specifications before it can qualify to go on your wrist. Isn't that amazing? 190 tests. It actually depends on which model, so not all the models go through 190 tests, but it's still very surprising. And I want to talk to you more about the case construction now. The key to G-Shock's shock-resistant structure is the hollow structure, in which the module is lightly supported by the protrusions of the shock-absorbing pads and layout so that it seems to float. This point-to-point support prevents shocks from being applied to the entire watch and it disperses them. It is a well-known story actually that this idea came to Ive-san, who is the inventor of G-Shock, when he saw a girl playing with her ball in the park. The case design is meticulously calculated and direct impact to the buttons is guarded by the uneven case. And the quartz oscillator and other important components inside the module are individually protected by cushioning materials to protect them from shocks. In addition, G-Shock has undergone numbers of tests that simulate real-life conditions, such as including a test in which the watch is immersed in artificial sweat for an extended period, and a test in which the watch is repeatedly rubbed against shirt fabric, like this. Also, water-resistant function is taken very seriously. So divers' watches are items that can endanger human lives. They are subjected to strict international standards set by the ISO, which is International Organization for Standardization. However, Casio has developed its own testing equipment which can create an even harsher environment, such as a machine which can operate testing the buttons under water pressure to ensure that the quality of the watch is strictly checked. Isn't it fascinating? So this is the basic explanation for G-Shocks, and let me move on to showing you the actual model. Casio has kindly let me borrow 3 models from their collection. It was all launched in 2022, and I'm gonna start with this one with some graffiti on. This one is launched on September, so it's quite new. It's called DW5000SS. I thought SS stands for stainless steel, but I think it stands for street spirit. There are models that looks like this, which is quite colorful, but I have the black one in my hand. I personally really like this G-Shock DW5000SS very much. Even with the street spirit and the original graffiti splashed boldly across the bezel and the band, it's actually not too much if I put it on my wrist. Let me put it on. I think it even matches with my style today. What do you think? Well, this case is the very original shape of the G-Shock, and you may already know it's actually octagonal shaped, and from its DNA it says 1983, and this is the year that the original G-Shock was born. This model was launched in 1987, not the first G-Shock model released in 1983, but it is quite similar as not many updates were made in 4 years. So here are another 2 watches I borrowed, so let's go with this one. So GMB 2100. You thought it's one of those Casioaks, right? Yes, it is. I wonder who first started calling Casioak. It's actually a really good name. I like the 2100 series because it's a G-Shock, but actually an analog watch. And this time it comes with a full metal design. It's actually quite heavy if you hold it. Not too heavy, but heavy. Using the manufacturing technology of the previously launched models GMW B5000 and AWM500, the 2100 series is realized utilized an all stainless steel exterior. Cutting-edge technologies are incorporated, such as the high-grade feel resulting from craftsman's hand finishing and polishing, the implementation of shock-resistant parts made of the fine resin, and the smartphone linkage function using Bluetooth. So there are 3 points I'd like to explain about this watch today. So point 1 is the thinnest body in the full metal collection of G-Shock. In recent years, men's watches have become smaller and slimmer, and this trend has been sweeping for G-Shock as well. This trend may be said to have triggered the birth of the stylish 2100 series. The latest full metal model, the GMB 2100 D18JF, is the thinnest and lightest in the lineup. While it has no weakness, it is not equipped with a standard radio wave reception function, which is multi-band 6, but this can be adequately covered by a smartphone link. Let's move on to point 2. It's high quality. Exterior is finished with 2 different microfabrication techniques. In pursuit of improved legibility and beauty, the dial consists of 2 pieces with different finishes for the in-dial and the LCD section. The in-dial ring is given a fine grind and a vapor dispersion, and the dial is fixed with laser welding. The GMB 2100 is also manufactured at Casioak's premium watch factory Yamagata Casio, which produces everything from the high line of G-Shock watches such as MRG and MTG to the high-end Oceanus models. Yamagata Casio's precision modeling technology is used to mold multiple shapes and finish the watch with precise surface processing. The bezel surface and side, as well as the band, are finished mainly with hairline finishing, while the case portion, which is lowered from the bezel, is mirrored to create shades of light and a sense of class that can only be achieved with metal. So now, finally, point 3, its structure. High shock resistance while being thin and metal. Fine resin parts, the key to the shock resistant structure, are inserted between the bezel that covers the entire surface and the middle case that encloses the module. Between the bezel, which is stainless steel, and the middle case, also stainless steel, shock-absorbing fine resin cushioning part is mounted. This protects the delicate module constructed with a high-density mounting technology from shocks. In addition, the joint with the band, which is often a weak point of a watch, is made of 3 legs and connected by a robust pipe to improve shock dispersion and resistance. In terms of full metal G-Shocks, I'm pleased to see a wider range of choices nowadays in terms of function, design, and color. What do you think? So lastly, we move on to MRG B5000. It's not a DW-series, it's an MRG. The first G-Shock watch, the DW5000C, was created in 1983, as many of you as you know. And in 2018, the GMW B5000 has evolved with a full metal exterior. Shock-resistant square design MRG digital standard model was born this year in 2022. It's not a new GMW 5000 series, it's a new MRG. Wait, so what is a MRG? It looks exactly the same as the regular G-Shock, but only more expensive? I'll explain in a minute to you. The MRG is the highest quality in the series, which sets it apart from the other G-Shocks. The name MRG stands for Majesty, Reality, and G-Shock. Did you know that? So MRG stands for pretty big words, doesn't it? Well, G-Shock has been accepted by many young people. A thought came to Mr. Ibe, the inventor of G-Shock. He thought, I want people to wear G-Shock even when they grow up and become a mature adult. I want people to continue wearing G-Shock. How can he do that? He set up a project team and held a series of meetings and came up with this concept, full metal G-Shock watches that can be worn on the wrist of adults. The project to develop a new G-Shock was launched in 1994 based on this concept. However, the transition to full metal for G-Shock was a series of hardships. As I have already explained the unique structure of G-Shock earlier, but what's the unique structure of the full metal G-Shock? There are three major unique structures. Number one is basal bumper protection structure. A cushioning material is laid out between the basal and the case, which also serves to hold the glass, and an L-shaped glass packing is also added to mitigate the impact on the metal basal. As the name suggests, the structure was inspired by the bumper of an automobile and successfully developed. And the second, it's the metal band. It's right here. The pieces of the band can be rotated downward. This enables the band to absorb shock when dropped. It's quite surprising. And thirdly, it's the band root. The band is firmly attached with a single foot structure at 12 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. The 4-point screw firmly secures the basal and has become an icon of an MRG design. Shock-resistant structure and size reduction quad-good structure, many people may imagine G-Shock full metal model to be quite large in size. Originally, the weakest point of a wristwatch was the part called the crown, which is used to control the time and date. The crown is directly connected to the inside of the watch, so a shock to the crown can directly damage the inside of the watch. The crown gird structure of MRG has succeeded in reducing the size of the crown gird, which used to be large in the past. The MRG must have a size that is easy to wear in order to emphasize practically, and this structure was newly developed for this purpose. The quad-good structure eliminates the need for large guard parts. So this octagonal case form was inherited from the DW5000C, the very first G-Shock that debuted in 1983. The watch offers a streamlined, minimalist design while protecting the module from drops. This GMW B5000, a full metal model of the same square, is a single case part, but the MRG B5000 uses a whopping 25 parts for this part alone. This actually enables to polish each part in a very detailed way. It can be a small changes when you look at it, but such attention to detail leads to the overall beauty and elegance of the product. Casioak developed the multi-guard structure as a dedicated structure for the MRG B5000 in order to configure a full metal shock-resistant structure with basal parts which were subdivided into pursuit of beauty. At first, 25 parts were not able to withstand the shock and some were falling apart. Well, after repeated improvements, the multi-guard structure was born. It's quite impressive. So how did you like all the three models I've introduced to you today? I hope you liked them. Well, when I think of G-Shock, I always remember the movie Speed, which was released in 1994. You can see Keanu Reeves wearing the G-Shock DW5600C1V. Well, in case you haven't watched the movie yet, you'll be happy to see G-Shock being very close up on screen many times. Keanu Reeves chose to wear this watch throughout the movie, and it's actually his own watch, so it's not a costume. Well, thank you for sticking until the very end. I look forward to seeing you again next time, and please don't forget to do the YouTube stuff, hitting the like button and also subscribing to our channel. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you again.